LA has as high taxes as you're going to find in the US, California. So why was that? Why did guys want to go to San Jose? They were a winning organization. You had the chance to win the cup. You still can get your money, but you also have a chance to leave an indelible mark and have your name on the Stanley Cup, which is what kids dream about. When a kid is 8 years old and goes, I want to play in the NHL, they don't go, I want to play in the NHL, I want to make a lot of money. They say, I want to win the Stanley Cup. And I think somewhere in everyone, there's still that lust and that dream. Yeah, the money's fantastic. And I know, Nick, you focus a lot on that. But I don't think for every guy that's always going to be the top consideration. I think that's there, but it's certainly there alongside a winning culture and a winning environment.
Outside of that, you or the general consensus down there with the media is that Bennett stays?
I mean, I have no input or insight into this. It would seem foolhardy. Here's what I guess I would say. I think there's a little bit of loyalty there. He was having a rough ride in Calgary. It just wasn't working out well for him. It wasn't going well with Sutter. They traded him, and he's found a home here, and he's found an environment here where he's been able to thrive. And he probably likes the fact he can, he doesn't have to put up 80 points in the regular season. He can put up 50 points in the regular season and go out and just do his thing when it matters most. And we saw that in Four Nations as well. I mean, I don't know what he'd be chasing something if he wants to leave here. And what is he chasing? If he's not happy here in this environment with this situation, is he chasing just a few extra $1 million? And I'm not belittling that, because, hey, money is money. But that's what I would view that in my eyes. If I'm him and loving life, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as long as they can, pay him in the ballpark of what he deserves on the open market, I imagine that might be very appealing to him. But again, that's complete speculation. I have no insights at all.
Yeah. So, we talk a lot about legacy and stuff. How about these coaches? The legacy of Paul Maurice is going to take a sharp turn from the guy who was a good coach, couldn't get it done, to a guy knocking on the door of being a two-time Stanley Cup champion. Chris Knobloch, I believe, just 2 years in the league, right? 2 Stanley Cup finals here, but will fall short, could fall short both times. We don't know yet. But, how much of these teams taking on those personalities? There almost seems to be like a weight off Florida this year. They don't seem to carry that stress anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're 100% right. And talk about changing the narrative, because you're right. When Paul Maurice left Winnipeg, people were just saying, wow, good coach, great coach, legendary coach in many respects, got a lot of regular season wins, but he wasn't able to elevate his team to where they needed to be. Had some success, got Carolina to the final, and obviously got to a conference final in Winnipeg. But now he's going to go down as one of the greatest coaches ever. I mean, really, it's just Scotty Bowman and I think Joel Quenneville who have more wins than him. And to go back to back, if that's what happens here, 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, it's amazing. And to do it in a way where he seems to have such a high EQ. And I always talk about this when I talk about the great coaches. X's and O's are incredibly important, but get me a guy who can motivate me. Get me a guy who understands the 20th guy on the bench and understands your superstar and can motivate both those guys. And it might be different ways of motivating them, but can understand, relate, and motivate both the fourth line guy and the first line guy. And again, it's not about being loved by everyone, because if you talk to any coaches, they'll tell you you're not going to be loved by everyone. You just got to be loved and respected by some of the guys. And you certainly need to be respected even by the guys you might be sitting and who aren't getting the ice time and are a little pissed at you. And Paul Maurice just has a great way of making everyone feel invested in what they're doing. Jonah Gadjevich didn't play a minute in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year, but he was with the team. He was a black ace throughout the playoffs. Here he is now, providing minutes and getting a lot of accolades from Paul Maurice. He understands that. Nick, you were in a tough role at times, not getting all the ice time, but you were made to feel valuable in that 94 run for the Rangers. And he has a great way of making these guys feel like they're invested and equally a part of what's going on. Vitek Vanacek came over. He has to sit there and take all the shots in practice. And Paul Maurice goes out of his way to talk about Vanacek and how important that is.
I forgot about him.
Right, he's on the team.
We all did. And that's my point. Like that's a great coach, right?
Yeah.
Who's getting the backup goalie to feel like they're as much a part of it as Bobrovsky, who's playing every single minute. So Paul Maurice deserves all the flowers he's getting. Chris Knobloch, I mean, he's had an unbelievable success, and I don't think anyone would put this on him. There'll be a lot of questions if Edmonton doesn't win the cup. What do they need to do, and how do they build around their nucleus of superstars, and what are they going to pay Evan Bouchard, and what about the goaltending? I don't think a lot of questions are going to be necessarily pointed at Chris Knoblauch. Is he the right voice to lead us there? I haven't heard that. I'm not in the inner circle of the Oilers, but I haven't heard much like, we don't have the right guy behind the bench.
DA, great job as always, man. We really appreciate your time on a game day. Find a way to get a Game 7, please. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah, listen, it's a win-win. Either I get to go home to my family, it's been a long time, or, more favorably would be really to have a Game 7 and have the Oilers pull it off, which would be pretty cool because it's been a long time coming. You also asked I closed these blinds because I looked like the witness protection program, but there it is.
Yeah.
The sun is out.
All right. Hey, that sunshine hit the Oilers tonight.
Telling your wife you said more favorably.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great night. David Amber.
Thanks for having me on, fellas. Be well. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks, DA.
DA. Getting ready for puck drop, 8 p.m. Sportsnet, CBC. So I just want to follow up a little bit on fork in the road tonight. And it's not fork in the road that Connor will decide to leave or not sign.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they lose tonight, then there has to be a serious reflection from all of them, including Connor, on where this team moves forward here. Because I'm looking at this lineup right now, and their best winger, Connor's best winger, outside of, when Draisaitl's with him, is Corey Perry. So,
Can they fit Marner in?
I get that Hyman's out, but where is this team next year? Where is Kapanen and Kane and Skinner and
All time.
Connor Brown? Like, how close is if Connor doesn't get his cup Saturday night? Where are the Oilers in the next few years? Like, it's nice that David throws out that he's going to get his cup. He's just going to have to wait. Like, where is the signs that this is outside of 97 and 29 that you've got a great nucleus still moving forward?
I will say there are concerns in that, on the older end are Corey Perry, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Adam Henrique. Those guys are Ekholm, older players, like into their 30s. My point is not that they're old. They're not going to get better next year. And they're among their most important guys. So who is stepping in to fill that void among young players? I'm looking at the roster. I got nothing. Can Trent Frederick to be a little better? Bouchard's a Norris threat, I suppose. But so how can they get better from here if they don't get it this year? Connor's going to have a night tonight, boys. He is. He's going to have a night tonight.
So you're calling Connor
I am.
winning tonight, and you guaranteeing the win for the Oilers fans?
Mass.
Hey,
Let's go, Mass.
I can't do it.
Go, Mass.
Come on, Mass.
You only do it when you believe it. And I believe Connor's going to have 3 or 4 points.
we only say on this show what we believe.
That's right. Connor's going to have, he's going to be in the mix. He's going to have a great night.